Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the new Cosmic Knowledge Channel. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. Sorry that I got caught up doing some moving stuff, doing some stuff that was business. And quite frankly, time got away from me. I forgot about setting up this show. My most sincere apologies. I know that your time is important, and I deeply respect your time. And I ask that you forgive me for forgetting about this. But here we are to talk about a subject that I think is important. Important for those of us, especially that are living in the United States, but also important because for a lot of reasons, the reality is that when the United States has a cough, the rest of the world catches cold in many ways, financially, militarily, socially, culturally. So it's important to keep an eye on the United States as a harbinger or a bellwether of things that are going on in the world. And you notice I am wearing the Rex Bear super duper fancy tinfoil hat. I'll be going a week from this Saturday to the Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary with Rex. We'll be overnight for a fantastic paranormal extravaganza. And I wanted to ask the question today, is the United States cursed? If you look at what's going on in the United States, you look at the amount of hatred and division there is amongst our population. If you look at the many, many homeless people, the pandemic homeless people, if you look at the flus and the cancers and all of the sicknesses that are affecting us. And then if you look at the land itself, Yellowstone, fires in California, all kinds of hurricanes on the East Coast, snowfall, drought, you just wonder, is the United States under a curse because of all of these horrific things that are coming upon this country? And someone would ask, well, why would the United States be cursed? Well, let me offer you this by way of explanation. And this is an article from United to End Genocide. And it talks about atrocities against Native Americans. The estimated number of Native Americans or American Indians living on land that is now owned by the United States before the Europeans came here was about 10 million or more. Now, even by 1900, there was less than 300,000. From 10 million to 300,000. Where did all those people go? Well, there's a history of atrocities. There's a long list of this, but let's get right down to the United States history of atrocities. In 1830, there was something called the Indian Removal Act. And it called for the removal of the Cherokee, the Chickasaw, the Choctaw, the Creek, and the Seminole Indians. Between 1830 and 38, federal workers working on behalf of cotton growers forced 100,000 Indians out of their homeland. The dangerous journey from the southern states to what is now Oklahoma was known as the Trail of Tears, and 4,000 Cherokee people died of cold. They died of hunger. They died of disease. And as the United States expanded westward, more and more Native Americans were killed, were slaughtered. 300,000 people went west due to the gold rush. And one of the biggest things that happened was not only the removal of the culture in land, not only starvation because of the removal of the buffalo and other things like that, but one thing that we don't understand is that there was disease brought in. We brought in diseases they had never seen. Our animals, our cattle brought in diseases they'd never seen. The foodstuffs that we brought in diseases they'd never seen. And hundreds and thousands of American Indians died from horrible diseases brought from us stealing their land. So not only did we steal their land and kick them out of their homes, we got them sick and led them to a horrible death. It's amazing, folks, that these things happened in the United States. And if you don't think that a people like the Native Americans the people that were in touch with the earth, the people that were in touch with nature, I've got to believe that some of them somewhere, sometime, may well have left a curse upon this nation and upon the lands of this nation. And perhaps we're getting exactly what we deserve. The United States has committed horrible atrocities against the native peoples, and maybe now the chickens are coming home to roost. What should we do? Well, I think we individually and collectively can issue an apology to peoples that we slaughtered. I know I didn't slaughter any, you didn't slaughter any, but our ancestors and our forefathers did. I think it would be a proper and a fitting spiritual exercise for each one of us individually to offer repentance, to offer our condolences for the things that happened. And I think that we should do it collectively as a people. And I really believe that President Trump should walk to the podium and apologize to the native peoples for the slaughter perpetrated and perpetuated by the United States government from then until now. Have you been to an Indian reservation lately? Not a good place. And these people rightly have probably put a curse on this land. Journeyman, doesn't matter how brutal they were to each other. We stole their land, we killed them, just like the Israelites stole the land from the other people, and that's still going on over there too. It's something about it. When people steal your land and kill your family and take it over and say it's theirs, that tends to stick with a person. Could you imagine sitting at a traffic light and somebody comes up to you, pulls you out of your car and says, this car is mine now, God gave it to me? How would you feel? I believe the United States is under a curse, and as Americans, we are under a curse. Journeyman, I know that you're sharing your opinion, but this is my show, and we're under a curse. And we need to offer our condolences, in my opinion. We need to offer our apologies, in my opinion. And I know some of you don't like it. It's hard to realize that you came and stole people's land. And somebody says they fought for it, they didn't steal it. So let me get this straight. Somebody's in a land, and you go in and you kill them all because your weaponry and your armaments are so vastly superior. That's not stealing? Maybe we have a different definition of stealing. I think it's morally reprehensible. Kat Rooney says that they are forgiven. She's of Mohawk. I can't say the Indian word, Iroquois. They didn't curse you. They knew the Great Spirit was watching. That's interesting. And I just got to chill as I read that. Well, then we should go straight to the Great Spirit and offer our condolences to the Great Spirit. I'm going to do it. You can join me if you don't want, or not if you don't want to. Right now, I, Jeffrey Allen Daugherty, addressing the Great Spirit and addressing the lost of the multiple millions of natives that my forefathers and forebears slaughtered and mistreated. Even though it's way too little, way too late, I offer my condolences and my repentance for the actions of my forefathers. And I solemnly promise to do all I can to right this. And I ask forgiveness from the Great Spirit, the great collective spirit of the native peoples. And I offer my sincere apologies. And if you could see in your heart to offer forgiveness, I would appreciate it, but I certainly do not expect it. I ask that you would hear my apology, hear my repentance, and accept it for what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, the United States is cursed with a curse. Thank you, Sandra D'Angelo. And it's time to break that curse. Thank you, Cindy. It's a solemn thing. It's a powerful thing. But it's time for a repentance. Thank you, Nick. And it's time for a moving forward. And I feel better. I feel like I've done all I can do. And that's part of being divine, being sovereign, being free. And you're free to disagree with me. But that's okay. Thank you, my love. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, and I'm here. I almost said the CWB. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, and I salute you, and I honor you for being here, and you certainly honor me. Jenny Moonstone in the house says curses can be broken. Exactly, Jenny, and that's why I did this show, so we can break that curse. And we can break that curse. I've broken it over my life. I will not have to deal with any of the curses from this. Sandra, Nick, the rest have broken it over their life. And if we would do it as a nation, we can also break it over our nation. Topper, I respect you. He says, or she says, I always forget that they disagree, but they still like me. And that's all right. I've disagreed with Sandra. Still kind of like her. I've disagreed with Jenny. Like Jenny. Disagreed with Deborah. Like Deborah. So it's all right to disagree, but I hope that you'll at least ponder what we've done here today. And Daniel, I'm apologizing for the actions of my ancestors, my forebears. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that somewhere, somebody from the clan Odakarte, from Donegal, took part in the slaughter of natives. Maybe they didn't, but I think that they probably did. And Sassy Susie gives us a good way to wrap this up. Be good to the land, appreciate living things. And Sandra D, as she so often does, hits the nail on the head and says, love the earth. There's no better way to wrap that up. And I said before, if you really want to show a woman how much you love her daughter, if you really want to show humanity how much you love humanity, then love their mother, of course, Mother Earth. Until next time, I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, reminding you, you're divine, you're sovereign, you're free. That doesn't mean that you don't apologize and make right for the things that you did. And I think that's one of the 12 steps, if I'm not mistaken, make restitution. And I would certainly be all for making restitution. Breaking Dawn says, open your heart to the earth. Absolutely. The United States is cursed, but I'm not cursed anymore. Those of you that are joining in this, you're not cursed anymore. As Jenny said, we have broken the curse. And if we can join together, more of us, we can break the curse over our people and over this nation. Probably. Well, until next time, remember you're divine, you're sovereign, you're free. Ask questions, question answers. And this is part of that process that we call unindoctrinate yourself.